Hi guys, Alsterboat here. You might be asking yourself, why are you wearing sunglasses? Well, here's the thing. When you're recording and doing a commentary, your camera is typically above your computer. And when you're wearing sunglasses, you can't tell where my eyes are. And I like to look at the screen, like the recording that's going on. But when I don't have sunglasses on, you guys are like, what are you looking at? But when I put them back on, you can't tell. But without further ado, today we're going to be talking about something that every single person in this world that's watching this video is going to have to deal with at one point or another. I'm going to be talking about in terms of the United States. If you live in another country, I'm sure there's an equivalent to it, but you know, you get my point. The federal government. The federal government. Woo! So a lot of you may be asking, what's the federal government? No, I'm kidding. Nobody's asking that because you have to be a real idiot not to know what the federal government is. But anyway. An entity of the federal government would be the Transportation Security Administration. Now, if you guys have ever flown on a plane or gone somewhere, you've had to cross these guys. I'm sure, you know, you get a little pat down. They're usually accused of molesting.
And I'm sure this woman was just doing her job, but she actually touched my vagina. And so I think that's why I'm crying. That's why I'm so emotional, because I'm already so upset that they're making me go.
So these are the guys that are responsible for screening you, your luggage, anything that's going on that aircraft to make sure that something like this doesn't repeat itself. I've been on a plane multiple times, never had an issue until Minecon. Let's get Harambe out there, everyone! Woo! Basically, what happened is just that, you know, I went to Minecon, took a 5-hour plane ride. It was great, you know, I had a good time at Minecon, except for one thing. The TSA broke my headset. That's right, this headset right here that I've now had to purchase a new one of, the Logitech G930 headset, they broke it. Took with me my laptop, phone, headset, you know, all the essentials. And when I got to the hotel, I started unpacking and I noticed that this headset right here, this little guy was completely detached from the rest of the headset, rendering it completely useless. I was like, well, this is bullshit. I want the TSA to pay for this because I didn't break it. I packaged it correctly. What's your problem? That's when I started a process that would last me September, 11 months. TSA claim process. So basically what I did was I got to the hotel, I did a little bit of research, I found out that there was a process that you had to go through. I called up the TSA and they basically said, yeah, we have a form online you can fill out and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, you know, seems easy enough. Well, I have all of the papers right here, and we'll go through them one by one, but oh boy, is it a real chore. So we start off with this paper. This paper right here is your claim form. It is 4 pages in total, and I have to fill out all of this information, letting them know my flight number, all my personal information, how much I'm looking for, yada, 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 yada. To sum it up, I stated, I brought my headset with me on my luggage, and it was in perfect condition. It was in my laptop case, which was inside my suitcase. When I opened my luggage, there was a slip of paper stating my bag had been inspected. The other was. But all items were returned. However, I found my headset to be snapped in half. Yep. And it goes on to ask you how much the Logitech headset was, and I put $159.99 because, you know, that's how much it was. So then what happens is that while I'm at Minecon, I fill out the form, I send it, I enjoy myself, I have a good time. By the end of the vacation, I get an email saying that the claim has been received and that they'll be in contact with me shortly. So I'm like, okay, you know, this should be real quick, right? Like, this is gonna take no time. I gave him the form, I'm on top of it. This should be easy peasy lemon squeezy. Was that wrong? The month of September ends. We're nearing October 20th, and I'm like, I haven't gotten a damn thing. It's been a month now. I haven't gotten anything. Then we come to November, and finally, I get a piece of paper. I get this guy right here. My claim receipt confirmation. The Transportation Security Administration received your claim and assigned it a control number referenced above. We look forward to assisting you in an efficient manner throughout the claims resolution process. And I love how they decided to use the word efficient when describing it. Because the next paragraph reads, Federal Tort Claims Act governs the way your claim is processed and establishes your rights in regard to your claim. If your claim is denied or has not been processed or resolved within 6 months! 6 months! 6 months for $160? It's crazy. But I'm thinking to myself, you know what? 6 months, maybe that's just the maximum. Like, if something, like, really crazy happens or something's, like, you know, just, like, out of this world. That's what this is. The 6 months is for. Like, a headset, shouldn't be that simple. Get security footage of some fat, lazy schmuck who's breaking my headset, and boom! He sent me a check. So then what happens is I get this, and I'm like, alright, gotta wait for the next piece of letter, next piece of contact information. I'm all excited. I'm like, Dad, Mom, look at me, taking care of business. November passes by. December passes by, January passes by, December passes by, February passes by, March passes by, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? So I tell my dad, I'm like, look, I did this thing, and we're running out of time. The 6 months is almost up, and, like, they haven't done anything. So my dad's like, contact a congressman. And, you know, I'm familiar with Congress, but I didn't know, like, you could actually, like, reach out to them. My congressman is Chris Smith. So he's like, yeah, you just send Chris Smith a letter, call his office, and see what we can do for you. So I'm like, all right. Give Chris Smith a call, get put through to an agent. I basically explain my situation, and they explain to me how part of the congressman's job is to help constituents, me, with issues that have to do with the federal government. So I'm like, okay, this sounds great. So then what happens is I get a letter from Mr. Chris Smith, and he's like, yeah, you know, I heard your story, looking to help you out. You just got to sign this form, send it back to me saying that I can act on your behalf. And I'm like, okay, sounds good to me. So I send that form back, everything seems all good and dandy. And then I get this email along with this letter. So I'll put the email on screen, but it reads, Dear Avi, my name is Sean Tully, what a great name, and I work for the Transportation Security Administration Claims Management Branch. I entered your claim for damaged property into our system, and I did not realize that you were under 18 years of age. Unfortunately, your claim is legally insufficient to process further. I was about to lose it, alright? You're telling me that after waiting for over 6 months now you're telling me that it's denied because I'm under 18? I'm telling you, there was nothing on your website that told me that I had to be 18 in order to file the claim. So I was about to lose it. I was about to go off the wall. Luckily, I finished off the email, and it then reads, you will need a signature of your parent or guardian and evidence that they have the authority to file a claim on your behalf by providing a copy of your birth certificate. You may either scan the information or send it to me as an attachment to the email, or you can file the documents to blah, 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 blah. So then I send the guy a copy of my birth certificate, send him my dad's signature, and we are back in the system. And I'm just praying that it's not going to take another 6 months to resolve this. And then about a month and a half passes by, and then I get this email. This guy right here, he's like the guardian angel. Dear Avi and Ovster. Oh my god. I think he meant to put my dad's name there, Adam, but he put Osterbone. So, dear Avi and Osterbone. You gotta love the TSA, right? So he basically asked me a bunch of questions. You know, I answered them all to the best of my ability, and then I get the email that is going to put all of this to rest. My boy Thomas comes in with the email. Thank you. I've taken all factors into account and have forwarded my recommendation to TSA for final review. You should receive a letter in the coming weeks with the decision and more information on finalizing a claim with TSA. So I'm like jumping up and down. I'm like, yeah, boy, that's how we do it. Email dated May 4th. Let's go. And then about right after I get that email, I then get a letter in the mail from my congressman, Mr. Chris Smith. And he writes, in response to my recent inquiries on your behalf, I received the enclosed correspondence from the Transportation Security Administration. The CMB states that its office held your claim on May 4, 2017, and sent your settlement letter to you, which included an enclosed payment form. And then he says, I know this has been a difficult experience for you. Oh yeah. And I am happy that it has finally worked out in your favor. It's been my pleasure to have been able to help you, and I hope that you always feel free to call me on regarding any federal matter of concern. So then I read the letter that Chris Smith received from the TSA person who he contacted. And like, I don't even know why they write like this. They make him sound like a god. They write, the Honorable Christopher H. Smith, like the Honorable. My Savior, my Lord, Jesus Christ, Chris Smith. And then the TSA agent basically writes, yeah, we got the claim, we settled it all, don't bother us again, thank you. About 3 weeks later, it took a while for me to get the payment form. I get a payment form, and I'm like, all right, I'm about to get $160, let's go. And the settlement offer is $90. They gave you the option to appeal the decision, but I didn't feel like waiting another 5 years to get it, so I just accepted the settlement offer and, you know, took the $90. So what happened is that I filled out my payment information, and I was so excited. I was getting a check from the U.S. Treasury. It's a big moment. I don't know any other kid under the age of 18 that has gotten a check from the U.S. Treasury. So I fill it out, I send the form back in, and about a month later, boys, we get the check from the U.S. Treasury Department. Your boy gets $90. Woo! An official check from the U.S. Treasury, guys. Do you know any other kid who has a check from the U.S. Treasury? I don't. I only know that I do. But yeah, I just wanted to share this experience with you guys. You know I do a lot of goofing around on the channel, and that's my personality. But I'm also, on the ball when it comes to stuff like this. And I'm good with figuring things out. And in this specific case, it came down to the TSA claims process. And I think it was a really good experience for me to have going through the federal government, figuring out how to do things. And as a kid, learning how to do this now, can really apply to things in the future, whether it's with taxes or future incidents like this. I think it's really cool that I was able to do all this. I think it's awesome that I have a check from the U.S. Treasury. I'm actually going to end up framing this and putting it on my wall as like a token. To the average person, a check from the U.S. Treasury, it's like, yeah, I got my Social Security disability check for being overweight. Woo! But to me, this is awesome. I'm going to leave links to all of these documents down in the description below. Obviously, my personal information is going to be blurred out. But just so you guys can see the documents, read them in full, see what the whole process is like. So maybe, if someone's watching this video that's going through it now and needs some guidance and needs some help, I think that these letters can really help you out and give you an idea of what to look for. So what have we learned today, guys? Well, we have learned that the federal government is slow, but with persistence and patience, it eventually works. That's going to do it for me, guys. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all later.